Good morning, y'all. It is Tuesday morning, so that means it's time for the second Tuesday tally. Just going to do a quick walk around the entire garden, check out some things. I just watered, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to things close up. This is going to be that time. I'm going to try to keep this to about 10-15 minutes and see if I can make my way all the way around the garden. Let's go. So first thing we have here are the strawberries that I planted, and I still have not connected them to drip, but you can see all of the plants have woken up and started pushing new growth. So can't complain about that. It's been pretty cool. We've been down into the 50s and upper 60s at night and not really exceeding the 80s this past couple of weeks, maybe a week. So it's been nice. It's been nice out here and I've really enjoyed it. We've got a container started with some garlic. I did get my garlic planted and I did a video of that, so you guys have seen it, but you didn't see me start that one. I had a couple of extra, what do you call the things? Cloves. Hang on one second. My mic is doing something crazy here. Let's see if I can shield it from this wind a bit. I'll tell you, if this mic isn't running out of battery, it's doing something else. So the Alternanthera here is doing good. The Euphorbia is not rebounded yet, but it's not declining, so it'll be fine. The hummingbirds have already started coming around, so this is going to be a nice little treat for them as these blooms start to open up. I did see one in the oak tree earlier this morning. Buttercup's still doing good, of course. We got more weeds that we need to pull here. I think that's going to be my main focus for this weekend, just to try to clean up the smaller beds. I'm going to be heading out of town for my homecoming up in Tuskegee, Alabama. So I want to get as much as I can cleaned up in the garden before I go. This porterweed is still in shock from the hurricane. We cut it back really, really hard because most of the plant was looking like that. But I think it's going to be fine. It's going to come back. You guys have seen the progression of this bed as it goes along. I do need to get some mulch to mulch it. This is a snow rose. I can't think of the botanical name for it right now for some reason, but I moved this one from the front bed. That's the planter that we put in a couple weeks back. I still have not run drip to it, so it's looking a little dehydrated. I have given it a little drink this morning. Okra is coming along fine. I love this leaf. That is the burgundy okra, and the one beside it is Jing orange. It's got some new flowers coming on. Nobody in my house eats okra except my husband, so I don't plant a whole lot of that. I've got 3 okra plants, and that's more than enough for him. We've got the sun blinding you guys, but we got the sweet potato vine rebounding. You guys see how fast this thing grows. I just cut it back after the hurricane whipped it to death, but we've already got limbs coming all the way out here. This bed is ready for its first weeding since I replanted it. It is so nice and breezy. I don't know how much of the wind is being picked up in the mic, but I will take it. I'm sorry if you guys can't hear me. It's fall in South Florida, guys, so take a look at that. The mulberry tree is dropping its leaves. Of course, it is dropping them a little bit early because of the windburn that it sustained from Hurricane Milton, but it was going to be dropping them anyway. They're just a couple weeks early. I'm going to try to get up here and show you. We've got some new bloom stalks coming out on the Vanda. And this is a fragrant Vanda. I talk about it every time it's blooming, but I've got 2 bloom stalks there. Exciting. So it's going to be blooming with no leaves around the tree, and I'll get to enjoy those blooms. Nothing really going on down here. I took out a lot of the branches from the philodendron. I've got a tomato that I need to get put in this pot. I've got plans to add some compost to the container that the Arizona cypress is growing into. That container actually is my old horse tackle box, and I needed something to do with it. You'll see it kind of puckers. I'm not sure if I can pick that up on camera, but it's puckering from the roots growing in there. This plant is very happy, and I'm not really sure why it's so happy in that container. I just needed to put it somewhere because I didn't want a 70-foot tall, 30-foot round tree sitting in the yard, but I just had to have that color. We don't have a whole lot of plants that give us that color. Back here, I kind of had a thought this morning, and I'm gonna have to talk to my husband about it and see what he thinks, but I think I want to pull these pavers up, put down a weed fabric, which I don't really like to use, but under this situation I think it would be better. Put down weed fabric and come in with rocks. If I put rocks over here to help kind of control, because these ferns pop up everywhere. We've got ageratum that pops up everywhere. I think it would just be a cleaner look if I came in here and put some stones. And I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going to talk to my husband and see what he thinks. He doesn't usually give me a whole lot of resistance when I come up with an idea for the garden, because this is not his thing. But I don't know. I like the ageratum. I don't mind it popping up here and there, but this thing is out of control. Look at how pretty that bloom is. I love it. And from a distance, when there's a huge, huge swath of it, it's gorgeous. But if you let it go to seed, it gets completely out of control. And it used to only grow in one spot over in the area of the greenhouse. Now it's all over the yard because I loved it so much that I just let it do what it wanted to do. Bad idea. Good idea, but bad idea. The Trichoglottis is blooming. This Trichoglottis blooms several times a year. Let's see if I can get it in focus. I'm using my phone to do this quick little walkthrough. It's apparent to me now that I'm going to go over 15 minutes because I'm already 9 minutes in and I'm nowhere near done. So I sprayed everything over here so that I can come in and dig up the weeds on this little pathway. I just haven't gotten around to the dig up part, just like I haven't gotten around to pulling the weeds on this part of the peninsula, but I'm getting there. I've got a list of content that I need to record, and planting that tree in the ground and cleaning up this bed is one of those things. So, oh look, the zinnia is back. I really didn't think this zinnia was going to make it through after the hurricane laid it down completely. But look at it go. It's doing a great job. I'm going to hold my mic because it's so windy. But it's doing a great job. It's pushing new growth. So I'll probably come in here. Well, I can't cut it completely back because we've got a new bud there. And we got a new bud here. And I'm sure there's a new one somewhere else that's going to pop up. Yep, there's one that's going to pop up here. But that flower is so worth it to have it. And this is the Benary's Giant. This just happens to be a pink one. I harvested okra from this plant the other day, but we got some new babies coming along there and there. And this particular one is the, which one is it? Heavy hitter. That's the heavy hitter okra. So we got a bird pepper here that needs to get put in the ground. I have brought the bird feeders back out. They have been gone for a couple of weeks because of hurricanes, but I've got them back out now. The birds have been happy about that. The papyrus is not dead yet. I really didn't think that papyrus would last there because they do require quite a bit of water. And this is a really dry bed. But it's doing pretty good. Let's move along. My tree is recovering. I cut it back really hard after the storm laid it on its side again. Almost completely uprooted it, but not quite this time. And it is pushing new growth. Very happy with that. I'll have to start over with limbing it up because when they get cut back so hard, they start to push growth from everywhere. And this is really, really low down on the branches. So I want to make those trunks and clean that up a bit. Scavola's doing really well. That one that was suffering seems to be rebounding a bit. It's not as big as the one on the right, but still it's doing good. Well, look, guys, the Vitex is pushing new growth. It survived the storm. It's looking really, really good. It's got new buds popping up everywhere. So I'm going to have a lot of nice branching and a lot of flowers coming. Let's see. You'll see more ageratum growing in the back there. Like I said, it pops up everywhere if you let it stay. There's no way you're missing the seeds. The Swiss chard kind of took a hit because I forgot to water it. I have got to take some time to get out here and put these things on drip because I have a bad habit of forgetting to water things. We have taken quite a few cuttings off of the Swiss chard. So, I mean, it's not as large as it should be right now because we're eating it. We're eating it and the guineas are eating it. There's one of the raised beds. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it. The Lespedeza has been cut all the way back to the ground. And as see, I have a lot of ferns that are popping up here. This bed was originally planted with ferns all the way around the oak tree. And I dug them all out. But you guys know with ferns, once you have them, you have them. Let's see. My little slash pine is doing good. It is time to trim the podocarpus hedge and the Duranta spheres. And I'll get around to that. They're not growing as fast as they were because it's not quite as hot and we're not getting as much rain anymore. Need to do a little cleanup here. So I'm kind of thinking this weekend I'm going to be focusing on weeding. Got the mums there, and look, the daisies are coming back in bloom. I still need to do some fertilizing on this side because the gardenia is not happy. This poor plant. I've been trying to save it now for 2 years and I'm not doing a very good job. Lots of weeding to do over here. This will probably be the task of next weekend, not this one, because I think I can accomplish more by focusing on the smaller beds this weekend. This rose is pushing new growth, and it is a yellow flower. I do not remember the name, and I'm not about to stab myself to go down and look for the tag underneath the plant. I need to replant my herb tower. The mums are looking good. The Farfugium is still blooming. I cut off a lot of blooms from that thing and it's pushing new blooms. The completely defoliated grapevine is now pushing new growth along the vine. So those little boogers did not kill it. I am spraying it with BT. I'm also spraying the other two in the pots. That one is getting sprayed. Oh, look at these giant ants. Does that mean the aphids are back? Probably does. And I sprayed this one as well. I've got to get a little bit more soil in here. I'm going to be planting a few of the seedlings. You can see some of the seedlings through the screen. I'm going to be putting a couple of the seedlings out here into the garden. It's time to get them out of these tiny little containers. But look at this beautiful new growth. So happy with that. More ageratum growing down here along the entire wall here. And the first round of snow peas are struggling. I did take a chance putting them out a little bit early. I could tie them up and kind of force them onto the support. But I don't know if it's worth it. It's still a little bit too warm for them. I wanted to see what would happen. This coleus is completely dehydrated. I just watered it, and I'm going to tell you now, it looks 150% better than it did before I watered it 20 minutes ago. The banana is doing good. That is the pup that took over for the last plant that produced for me. The boys are still eating bananas. I gave a couple hands away and we've just been letting the other ones ripen on the counter and they're eating them as they ripen. So it's working out pretty good. The mesclun blends are doing pretty good. I just watered these guys, so they're laying down, but they're looking pretty good. I'm going to probably do a cut and give some of these greens to the guineas. I need to pull ageratum. It's going to be the story of the day. Pull the ageratum. Oh man, the neighbor's plant needs to be trimmed. Maybe I'll do that for them this weekend. Here is the passion vine that we put in the other day. Did not go through any shock to get put into this pot. And I'm hoping that it will just keep doing that and it will make its way up and over the greenhouse. It's got a sansevieria there. That is actually whale's tail sansevieria. I love it. When I bought this plant, it literally had one leaf. And I have stuck it in this pot and forgotten about it. And I have 5 leaves on it right now. So I'm going to keep forgetting about it so that it will keep doing good. I'm not going to do anything except pull those weeds out every now and then. The pentas are doing good. I'm going to pull out the impatiens, because they are getting very, very long and leggy. And I need to figure out what I can put in this hole. I was thinking about putting the Green Cascade Japanese Maple back in this hole. I don't know that I want to, because I don't really think it's completely happy in that spot. It's still sitting on the lanai. I cut these coleus back after the storm because they were completely laid over and just needed a refresh. And looks like I got one that has planted itself outside of the pot. Got a couple of my daughter's bromeliads. This was her collection of bromeliads. This one is called, is it Darth Vader? I think it's called Darth Vader. And I think it is just like such a pretty bromeliad. But she started this collection of bromeliads and then got bored with taking care of them, I guess because they didn't require a whole lot of care and attention from her. But it was pretty much all the care and attention that she could give to them. And she's pretty much given up on them. The Mexican heather needs a nice little trim. I'm going to have to get down here on my hands and knees and snatch out a lot of this stuff. Believe it or not, these things were planted in a container that were supposed to be given to my mom and my sister-in-law for Mother's Day. 4 years ago. And for whatever reason, I never got around to taking them to him. One pot completely died and the other one looked like it was struggling until I stuck it behind the bench. And all of these plants are growing in this little pot. Let me see if I can even show you the pot. Let's see. I'm going to have to clip my mic on in order to show you what all of this is growing in. I don't even know if I can get to it to show it to you. It's like a hopefully I'm not waking up a snake who doesn't know me and wants to bite me. You see that container? All of these plants come from that container. The polka dot plant, all of this stuff. These huge vines growing everywhere, and I can't think of the name of this vine. But all of this is in that container. And it's getting water from the ground because my condensate line for my air conditioner drops right behind there, in between the pot and the bird of paradise. The sprinklers don't hit them. The rain does not hit them. All the water it's getting is from the air conditioner. Absolutely amazing. But when we spend our time and we take care of plants and we try to put them in the right place and give them all the right nutrients, what do? They up and die. We got some peppers we need to get off. The aglaonema I got on clearance is doing great in this spot, and I actually bought two of them. The other one is over here. It gets a little bit more sun than that one, so the color on this one is a little bit more vibrant, better variation of colors. It gets a little bit more red than this one does, but it's still gorgeous. I still love it. This one's bigger because it gets more of the water from the condensate line. I'm going to get these pots all cleaned up. I'll show you some blooms if the wind will stop blowing. So pretty. It's time to trim that back. Time to trim the Durantus here. I did some staking. so I can walk through here and everything is totally clean, blank slate. We took out the sweet potato vine. This was where the purple sweet potato vine was. Time to weed this bed and get some soil topped off on it so that I can plant something in there. This bed has garlic planted in it, and this one is still empty. Got a lot of cleanup going on over here. The Texas sage is still sticks. I'm not going to give up on it yet. I thought about digging it out over the weekend, but I decided leave it alone. Let's see what happens. I think it's dead, but sometimes plants trick you. But you guys remember that Texas sage was growing in this spot. Still a mess over here because I just haven't figured out what I want to do, which ones of these succulents I want to save, which ones I want to get rid of. I just don't really know what I want to do. Did a little bit of cleanup over here. My daughter did not finish pulling the weeds around the rose bush because she kept getting stabbed by it. But I did cut it all the way back, I guess about 12 inches from the ground. And it's pushing new growth. So I'll get in here and I'll clean up the rest of those weeds. She was terrified. She got stabbed like once and she was over it. And then the front bed has been totally emptied out, guys. All cleaned up. I have pulled out every single thing in the front bed. And I gotta figure out what I want to put here. I'm thinking super petunias, because I just love the color and the feeling that they bring to the front of the house. But I don't know yet. And I'm hoping that the Alternanthera here will bounce back. This one was still looking so good that I just wanted to give a chance to the other two here. So that one was pretty protected. The storm didn't beat it up too much, but these two took a hard hit from the storm. We cut back. This is a Salvia leucantha. Same one we got in the back, but this one gets a whole lot more sun. And I don't know that it really likes this spot, but it performs still. Just not as good as the one in the back. I'm hoping that my jasmine survived. We will find out in a couple months. So that's it, guys. That is the Tuesday tally for today. I've got quite a bit of work to get done, and I'm gonna work on it. You know, the weather's been good, it's been comfortable, and I'm really looking forward to getting back my full gardening days, because I haven't had them in so long. This summer was just such a long, hot, ridiculously draining summer. So I'm gonna start getting my Fridays and my Saturdays back into gardening and trying to film a little bit more of the content for you guys and hope for the best. I think it's going to be a good growing season. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.